Guy.
Yes, guy. Yes, guy. Yeah, guy.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
Hi, all. Welcome. My name is Dean, and this is our show. Happy to be with you all today. We got a lot going on, including, but not limited to, anti-vaxxers taking over dollar stores. We've got a brand new podcast to talk about, including the very first podcast dedicated to Star Wars, done by a little person for big people and little people, all kinds of people. We got people covered. That's what we do. We've got Bondzee fighting homelessness in LA. We've got a bunch of shit to get to, so let's get to it. Please welcome to the program, everybody. Bondzee Live on Twitter is where you can find him. Lochlin Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM. Lochlin Cross on Twitter is where you can find him. JP White, 957 on Twitter is where you can find James White, who's Lachlan's co-host on The Locker Room. Welcome, James P. White.
Love this guy.
Jimmy.
Love him.
Hey.
Jimmy.
You should see how busy he is
Jimmy.
He's a big
on
deal.
this whole podcast. He is fucking working his nut off for this podcast. And when are you debuting? When's the launch?
On the
Next Thursday, right?
Next Thursday, yes. So
the
what is that,
first
15th?
one is going to be a breakdown the history of Boba Fettish, right?
It's the book of Boba Fett is the name of the show, and it's you and Grant need to be slapped.
It's on Disney Plus, and Jimmy is going to be launching that first one, and then 2 weeks later, he will have a synopsis, a rundown on the very first of 8, right?
Exciting.
Yes.
And every week, you're going to be able to tune in after you watch it to the James P. White Jedi Jimmy podcast and get a whole breakdown on it.
Yeah, this is like the first Star Wars podcast we've had. I don't know that there are many very specific Star Wars podcasts because I don't really like it as much as like Jimmy does or other people that do Star Wars podcasts, so I never really look for them. But you won't find a more knowledgeable Star Wars fan that I've met than James P. White. Like, it was a shock to me when we started to get to know you, Locke, and then we started to get to know James, and that James not only knows everything there is to know about every episode, every season, every Star Wars spinoff, every Star Wars character, but what amazed me was he even knows the moves. Like, he's even got moves with like staffs and nunchucks and fucking pistols and stuff. Like, you love Star Wars. And when did this start? Like, when did your love of Star Wars start, and why? Was it the Ewoks?
Just because the Ewoks were mostly actually little people doesn't mean that's when it started.
Well,
that was actually the first. That was the
out.
first Star Wars movie I saw in the theater.
Okay.
Was a Return of the Jedi.
But when you saw, and I'm asking you this because, like, to me, in my mind, the real draw for someone who's a little person that got into Star Wars back in the day would have been the fact that all the Ewoks were played by little people, right? Like, that to me would have been like, oh, that's fucking really cool. Like, my people are in a Star Wars movie.
And you're a furry. So there's another connection there too.
No, actually what got me into Star Wars was Return of the Jedi, but it was the whole lightsaber thing, the whole lightsaber fighting. And because I've always, like, since I've been a kid, I've always been into martial arts and stuff like that. So with the whole lightsaber and using a sword, that's kind of what got me into Star Wars.
I got
way
a
back
quick
then.
story. So
No, here we
tomorrow
go.
we're doing our wager for round 14 of the celebrity death pool, which I won.
Right.
I had Bob Dole. So
Yep.
Bob Dole kicked the bucket on the weekend. These two have to fulfill the wager, which is taking these Superman pills, which we bought illegally from Mexico. They're a mix of Viagra
From
and
Wade?
Cialis.
Yeah.
And they have to pop one in the morning when we crack a mic.
Mhm.
And then we have to watch beach volleyball, women's beach volleyball on the TV all morning. And then we were supposed to do a show. We were going to do it on Friday, but we're doing it tomorrow because Grant has to dress up as Santa and go to he's Santa Claus for a kid's birthday party or like a Christmas party.
Yeah.
And we thought it might be inappropriate if Santa shows up with wood. So we're going with Thursday. And so Jimmy goes, well, we're going to have to find a way to get the beach volleyball on the TV. So he brought in his laptop from home, the one that he watches porn on, and he plugged it into the TV. And Grant goes, let's check your browser history. So, of course, we pull up the browser history, and we don't need to get into details, but one of the top searches was lightsaber tricks. That's how fucking serious Jimmy is.
Damn.
It was above the porn on his whack-off computer.
No, this is my
like two
podcast.
down.
No, this is my podcast computer. I have a different one for whacking off.
Thank God.
Because I don't like to get the key sticky on my podcast.
Yeah, we
one.
know how that works. But
You could go through my entire browser history in the lifetime since the interweb started and not find that search in fucking words in my search engine. I'm telling you right now.
that just goes to show. I mean, how many times a day do you masturbate?
On the weekend more than during the week, but on average during the week, once or twice, usually twice.
Twice a day. Okay. So twice a day you masturbate, but that's like second on your search history and you whack off a lot. So how many times a day do you practice lightsaber tricks?
For about half an hour a day, different tricks.
You literally do it. You practice. See, this is fucking legit. Like we have the exact right. I know he's deadly with it.
But that's the nunchucks is something totally different. But what I'm practicing is the different forms of I've told you before. There's 7 forms of lightsaber combat, and right now I'm perfecting 2. Form 2.
You know what's the beautiful
right
thing
now,
about
guys? Hang on.
this?
There's 7 forms of lightsaber tricks. Right now, I'm currently perfecting 2 of them, is what Jimmy just said. I want to watch this podcast right now.
Yeah.
I fucking have never seen a second of Star Wars in my life. Not one second of one movie. I'm Jimmy's number 1 fan. I'm hooked for this podcast.
Me too.
Yeah.
We have a screen test, Jimmy. I got a screen test here for the Jedi Jimmy show.
Awesome.
I'm going to play it, and then I've got some thoughts. Okay, I know this is just a screen test. I'm not using this to embarrass you. This was you testing your new equipment out at Army Chris's house. It's great stuff. But this is kind of a taste of what you get to expect with the Jedi Jimmy show. Here it is.
Hey, how's it going? This is James P. White from the Locker Room. Also, the James P. White Experience, and you are tuning in to the Jedi Jimmy podcast. I am the nerd you're looking for. So the whole purpose of this first series of podcast is talking about Boba Fett, the best bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe.
Yes, guy. Yes, guy.
And that right there
It's gold.
is the gold you are going to get weekly once this fucking show launches.
Couldn't
you
have gave
see-
for your first
Did you
podcast
see how
ever?
the beginning of it, he like legitimately forgot his name.
His
in the
name.
intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Did you see this?
No, I didn't forget
Yeah,
my
you did,
name.
Jimmy. Yeah, you
I
did.
didn't really forget. No, I always pause at my name because I forget where I was
Classy,
at.
you're fired.
But in my defense,
Yeah.
when I was doing that, I was 3 beers in
Okay. So that's
after
why we got
drinking in the afternoon.
Yeah. Okay. So you had big day of drinking.
Hey, how's it going? This
See, like you.
Hey, how's it going? This
It's like you weren't sure. You get right off the start. Everybody's so excited to do the screen test for his new podcast, and the like supposed to say, "Hey, this is Jimmy for the Jedi Jimmy show." He's like, "Fuck, I'm drawing a blank."
Hey, how's it going? This James P. White.
Oh, it's so good, dude. We're
so
nervous.
good.
But the problem I have, even though it sounds like I'm forgetting my name, I don't know. I sometimes don't know if I should go by Jimmy or James, because
Jimmy.
I like
Jedi Jimmy.
Jedi
you
Jimmy.
You can't. You introduce the show as Jedi Jimmy, so you got to go with this is Jimmy. You can't say this is James P. White.
But
You
I
say
have
Jimmy.
a hard time. I have a hard time introducing myself to Jimmy as Jimmy, because that was a name Locke gave me.
Oh, you don't like going by Jimmy?
Wear it proud.
I didn't at first. I just kind of own it after a while.
Well, why is
That's
it a
it.
problem? Jimmy's like just another name for James, right? Like I don't see what the issue is. Is it a familial thing? Like do you have
My
family
dad
bearing
went
down?
by
It's because
My
I gave
dad-
it to him.
My dad
Oh,
went,
okay.
but my dad went by Jimmy. Growing up, like I was technically James White the third. So when I was a lot younger, I was Jamie. My grandfather was James, and my dad was Jim or Jimmy.
Mhm.
Then and
We
no, I'm
can't
not
call
going
him
by-
Jamie. I can't do it. It's
No,
Jimmy.
I
It's not a
stopped going.
Jamie.
I stopped going by Jamie as soon as my balls got hair.
Congratulations, good for you.
I
I
love
went
the
by James.
background here. Like, look at the fucking background
Oh,
on
it's
that
unbelievable.
From the
Look at
locker.
that.
Also, that James
Like you
P. White
almost look like you're in the
Tatooine.
show. Yeah.
Is that not Tatooine? Like you've
Look
got a green screen, you've got like
Yeah.
Tatooine in the background, like you've got a professional road mic, you got a Star Wars toque on. You've got to be excited for
real
this,
deal.
right? Like
Oh.
and you're timing this with the new Boba Fett show. Is that correct?
Yeah. The only reason why I'm releasing the first one next week is just because with the holidays and everything, and then the first Boba Fett launches on the 29th
Okay.
of December.
Yeah. So the 30th is the first
The
episode
first
where he
breakdown
breaks
of-
down, right?
Yeah.
So, and there'll be like we talked about it this morning. One of his ideas was he's going to do predictions for the upcoming episode. And so, if you're a Star Wars nerd, the thing about this too is, I got into the Mandalorian, right? And I'm a casual Star Wars fan, and I don't know what the hell's going on. So this will be something that I think people that he refers to as his muggles will be able to watch this and maybe get a little bit of a better understanding of why they're doing certain things, because there's a lot of information in this whole thing.
Well, and you bring out a good point. Like as a casual Star Wars fan, or people that like literally just liked Star Wars, there's like this whole generation of people who don't just like Star Wars. They like give themselves Star Wars names. They learn different languages from different countries. Or if you're James, you Google lightsaber tricks and you practice those for half an hour, and you know the entire history of Boba Fett. Are you going to bring like guests on and stuff? Are you going to bring people in? Because I know you're part of like a couple of Jedi groups or something. Sorry, I shouldn't. I'm not laughing at. I know you're a Facebook Jedi. So what do you like? Do you have people in the group that you're going to bring on and other like Star Wars aficionados?
For the first one, for the one dealing with Boba Fett, probably not, just for the sake of I'm trying to get into doing a podcast on first, and then once I get into that, like when we get into the Obi-Wan series, which is supposed to be coming out later on this year, where I will be going a lot more into the lightsaber combat because he uses a lightsaber. During the Boba Fett one, there won't be any lightsaber stuff because I don't believe there's going to be any Jedi in this.
So he's not a Jedi?
No, he's a bounty hunter.
He's
now
a
that's
Mando.
He's a bounty hunter that's turning gangster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
Boba Fett. Dude, if you've watched any Star Wars, first you know
But
that
the chick with the noodle on her head, she was a bounty hunter, and she's got Jedi powers.
No, that was it. No, you're talking about the Twi'lek.
She had a lightsaber.
Yeah, but that was a different one. That's not in this show. That's a different That's a
Well, what's the
race of-
difference between? What do you mean? Like, there's different lightsabers? I thought lightsaber was a
No,
lightsaber. Did she
no,
steal her
he's a
lightsaber, or is that like a
different color.
knockoff dollar store lightsaber?
in the Star Wars movie, the Revenge of the Sith, when they were killing all the Jedi, there were a couple of Jedi that were the same race. Like, they're called Twi'lek, which is basically have like a head covering that kind of looks like noodles, but it's a different Jedi, and
Right.
And there's a difference between a Twi'lek and what's her name is too. I can't think of her name now. I'm blanking.
You have a tough time with all names, like not just which I understand because you had a hard time with your name.
Ahsoka. The one he's been talking about is Ahsoka, and she's a different race than the one that we saw in.
She's got the two big, huge noodles.
No,
on her head.
hers is a hairpiece, and the other one, like, it's a hair covering, whereas the other one is actually, they have these things growing out of their head that look like noodles, big, thick noodles.
By the way, Brent invited you on the Kids on the Escalator podcast. They are heavy duty nerds, and they're nerd everything.
I've been on that podcast.
You got to go back to talk about the.
They want you to go back.
Oh yeah.
They want you to go back to talk about it because, like, when they have guys like Locke and I on, we just end up fucking up their whole thing. Like, we can't stop joking and making fun of nerds and stuff. And so it's like, they're like, hey, why don't you come on? We're like, yeah, that'd be great. And we're supporting their stuff. But, like, literally, it's like, hey, this is Dean and Lochlin. And then Lochlin and I spend the next 20 to 25 minutes going, what's it like being a 48-year-old nerd? Like, is it hard? So they'll love you.
So the one we were both on.
You'll fit right in, James.
So in other words, what you're saying is he's a dick here too, as well as he is on our show. Okay, because he never, when they bring up nerd news or Star Wars news, half the time we end up talking about Locke's bowel movements.
Well, that's because he's got to bring it into an arena that he understands, right? He doesn't know anything about Star Wars, but I can tell you the man shits like a racehorse, so it's worth a conversation.
4 times.
I haven't had a great week in that department, but that's another day.
Dude, before I got on this show, I had one of those ones where you go to wipe and there's like nothing, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a great day.
Those are good poops.
Those are great.
I like the ones that there's no evidence.
Yeah, I felt bad because I was like, I wasted toilet paper, but
that's not a full ghost poop though. The ghost ones where they go right down the
you don't see it, and you're like, I felt something, but I don't see it. Yeah, I got.
I've had a couple of those in my life.
Yeah, those are exciting.
And then they weren't in your toilet; it was in your pants.
I've also had a couple that, like, you can't see water, like you wouldn't even know that. What? It just fills the bowl.
Hey, Jimmy, we got a couple of questions here. Ryan Lindley wants to know if the show that you're talking about is the one with George Takei. Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
That's Sulu from the original Star Trek.
All right. Ryan's next question is, where did your middle name Pierre come from?
I'm not French.
Okay.
It's not Pierre, it's Patrick.
Okay.
Not Irish either, but.
Here's another question from Ryan. Jimmy, quote, where do they park the Starship Enterprise?
In the space station.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Hey.
This one's from your friend Chris. Who's playing Obi-Wan Picard?
This is the shit that he deals with on the locker room.
Aren't you glad you came on, James?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stoney says, quote, I've not come across other people to talk about shitting as much as you guys. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, Ryan says, thanks, Jimmy. You've answered all his questions.
Because people avoid you, positive, Mike. There's a lack of communication in general in your life.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So the Jedi Jimmy podcast will be here at DeanBlundell.com. You'll be able to get it anywhere you get your fine podcast. He's got an incredible setup, so it'll look legit. I am a little concerned after watching your test footage of you doing this on your own, but you put a lot of work into this, which means you're going to do some planning, right? It's not going to be just like this kind of off the top of your head sort of. Okay, good. No. Like that would be my concern for you, is that you freewheel this and then you forget your name to start the show and then it's over before it begins.
I'll probably still forget my name. That's not okay. I'll remember everything else that I have planned for the thing, but my name is kind of iffy half the time.
Yeah,
there's
okay.
going to
That's
be
okay.
there's going to be some gold James P. White moments. I think
Yeah.
everybody needs to settle in for this isn't going to be something that Disney calls and goes, "We need you to be a regular contributor."
You never know. You never know. Kids got game when they see those videos of him swinging that lightsaber and sword around and stuff.
You
Look
have to
at
at some point. You
That's
have to
gold.
do a little lightsaber work, though, Jimmy.
But
even if
as
Boba
a-
Fettish doesn't have a lightsaber.
As I said, for the next one, for the Obi one, oh yeah, I'll be duplicating some moves.
Do you think you could do some micro content for us, like some promos? Because I think what would be really cool is if you did some lightsaber tricks for like 20 seconds with an intro and an extra for the Jedi Jimmy podcast. Like, I really do. I think it'd be shirtless.
Yeah.
You get a ton of traction. Well, honest to God, like if you want to grab people's attention, this is what we're going to do. So what I want you to do between now and the 29th, when this thing launches, what I want you to do is I want you to do a couple of promos. I'd like to see the planning, but I'm very excited for your show. I'm excited to learn something about Star Wars from someone who I know knows everything about Star Wars. I think you're cute as a button, and I think people are going to love your show. But here's the thing: you cannot take yourself seriously when you do this, right? You do know that.
Oh, I don't plan on taking myself seriously, but I plan on taking this seriously. I really do like care about this stuff, and I've got plans, and I've got if I've been on the show with Locke for so many years, I know shit goes sideways so many times, and I'm not going to let it bother me. Like, but it's just I'm not also going to have
bullshit.
I'm also not going to have Locke and Grant come in and go, yeah. So which one has a gem up their ass?
You guys terrorize this poor fucker
every single day.
Do you know what he just said? You know what? All I heard there. I know if you listen to their show at 95.7 Cruise FM and Edmonton, it's like terrorize the poor kid. But you know what? It's you just nailed it. This is yours, right, Jimmy?
Yeah.
This is your podcast. This is where you get to be you. There's no getting this wrong. This is just you. It's just you talking about what you fucking love more than anything, right? So you can't go wrong.
But what I've learned with Jimmy,
What
I've learned with Jimmy, and this is something that he had to learn as well, is Jimmy, his personality and what he brings to our show and what he will bring to this podcast is intangible. Mm-hmm. And he's the reason why I came up with the term unintended content, because there's not a day that goes by where we don't hear something from Jimmy where it's like, what did he just say? Like, and you can't plan that. You can't sit down behind the scenes and go, okay, Grant's going to say this. I'm going to say that, even though some fucking awful shows do this. And then you say this, Jimmy, right? It's the stuff that just comes off and that's what Jimmy brings to the table.
You bet.
And well, berate is a good way of explaining what I've done with him.
Berate, be an asshole.
Terrorize. Beat this into him over the years. Don't overthink your contribution to the show. Just be yourself. I'm not asking you. I didn't bring you in to be the guy that, that says his name correctly. I didn't bring you in to be the expert on this. I didn't bring you in because you're fucking George Clooney.
You're not a journalist.
Yeah, you're not a journalist. I brought you in, and the reason why I love you is because you're James P. fucking White. Now get comfortable with that person and who that is, and you will be successful. And he's learned it. I mean, we have our setbacks sometimes, right? But James is he's our show. He's our show. The locker room would not be the show that it is. It wouldn't even be close to the show it is without this little fucker.
Let me ask you a question, Jimmy.
And that's, God's honest truth.
Do you know how much value you have? I don't think you do.
He doesn't.
I don't think you understand how important you are to the people around you. Yeah, we're not going to pay you either, but but like, do you understand how valuable what you know and your life experience has become? Do you understand how important you are to Lochlin? Do you understand how important just being you, just being yourself, not worrying about other people or what they say? Do you know that's your greatest asset? Do you know that will set you apart and make you a wealthy person if you embrace it? Do you know that?
I am learning it, and that's kind of where I kind of got into some of my, I guess you can say, extracurricular activities, from stripping to dressing up as a leprechaun to all that kind of stuff. Because I know who I am, and I'm comfortable with who I am.
Comfortable with who you are, yes.
And like we got an email from management today that there was a bunch of bigwigs coming next week, and my response to them is, so does that mean I have to wear pants?
Because the
first 2 years,
I know all those big wigs that are coming to see you, bud. They're not that big of wigs. So
but the first 2 years that we
there's always a concern about Jimmy whenever there's visitors.
Yeah. Do you hide him like every family hides that one family idiot?
I wouldn't say hide, but there's a concerted effort to keep him in certain areas of the building that might not be visited by said executives. I've actually had emails from or texts on my phone. So and so's here. Keep Jimmy in the room, please. Here's the beauty thing about Jimmy too, is he gets away with shit that other people don't get away with. This morning we're doing a topic about relationships, and Grant brings up a story but doesn't mention any of the names, and he's using it as a reference point from a text that we got.
Yeah.
And Grant goes, without saying it, sort of relays the story, saying who the players are. Jimmy comes off the shit end of it and goes, "Oh yeah, that's our boss and his last girlfriend." And both Grant and I were like, "Did you not pick up on the fact that we may not have been?"
There's a reason we didn't give out names when we were telling the story.
Hey, no, everybody in that building, in my opinion, everybody in that building needs to be treated exactly the same as me. Because if I leave out details in my life, if I leave out details, I'm not going to say her name. And Grant goes, "Oh, is that Cindy?"
You're right. Everybody should have to play by the same big people rules.
Yeah. That's
right.
funny. Yeah. So
Totally,
this morning,
totally,
probably
they
shouldn't
sell
have
you
mentioned
out.
our boss and his failed girlfriend on the air, but thanks for that.
That was 2
He didn't bring it
girlfriends
up. He didn't meet it up. He didn't bring it up in the job
Did you
meeting.
hear what Jimmy said? He goes, "That was 2 girlfriends ago." I don't mind embarrassing him. It was 2 girlfriends ago. It's not that big of a deal. Rookie's here. Chris Rook is in the building. And before we move on to our next subject,
We have assets.
yeah, I don't know what's going on here. You told me to just throw it to you when Chris arrives. So here you go, Locke. It's all you.
All right, Rook, play the video. We'll let the video speak for itself. This is what I'm referring to as, actually, Rook came up with this, Arby Gate.
Arby Gate.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've gone through all that this morning.
I know.
The end result of this is that William Nylander is being offered a lot of money, and the 4 of us are sitting around this table
For free.
Yes.
Right now.
Mm-hmm.
But once we get this produced and up on the iTunes charts,
Yeah.
we'll be good to go.
Sponsored probably by like an Arby's or something. I love
Yeah, it's
Arby's.
true.
And Joe is over there. Joe from
Arby's or something.
Did you
I
hear
love
that?
Arby's.
And Joe is
Wow.
over there. Joe.
Like an Arby's or something. I love
Yeah, it's
Arby's.
true.
And Joe is over there. Joe from Bay Street Staffing, who runs this whole operation. When we
Yeah, right there.
Busted.
Arby's Gate. What do we have here? We have a hypocrite. We have a hypocrite
That's
on this
called busted.
podcast sitting.
That's
Welcome to Arby's Gate.
Really?
The amount
That
of
was
Probably
four-
by
Arby's.
it
like
was-
an Arby's or something.
was
I love
fucking
Arby's.
4
and
years
Joe
ago.
I
is
love
over there.
Arby's.
Joe.
I love.
well, that's because I wanted to have money. I don't need it now.
So fuck Arby's. is what
That
you're
was
saying now,
episode
Dean.
number 14 of the Dean Blundell podcast on the Dean Blundell podcast network. Before I was ever around, somebody that's been listening recently went back and started listening to them from the beginning and
Oh, no.
caught that and sent it to me and said, "I think you'd want to know about this."
Oh,
Good for
Yeah.
them. Good for
Thank
them.
you. Thank you
that
for
is
that.
unbelievable that
That
someone
is.
went back 3 years when we had just started this podcast with like we had no equipment either. Like we were just talking into our computers. That's how fucking useless we were back then. We were just like get nice and close to the computer. Go, hello. So it's amazing that someone went back and actually took time to listen to it because that was like halfway through the podcast. I don't remember saying any of that, but I will tell you right now that was a lie. I've never had Arby's in my whole life. I lied. I lied for money. That's what I was doing. And
Well,
I'm
we
not
have
about to sit here
audio-
and tell you that I love Arby's because I've been railing against Arby's for a long time, with the exception of that poutine curly fry sandwich. That actually didn't look so bad.
It was good.
But I've never
actually.
had Arby's. I was lying. That was
You know what
caught me
Bondzee
in a
and I
lie.
are doing? As soon as he hits the ground, we're going to an Arby's.
We are, man. I'm stoked. I love the Arby's. Extra horsey sauce, and
Yeah.
let's go.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
I'm
ton of
down.
Arby's out there too. Like a ton of Arby's.
Yeah, they're all,
Oh,
they're
right on.
they're everywhere. Jimmy took me for lunch one time. He goes, "Where do you want to go?" I said Arby's, and so because he was buying, and he doesn't buy very often, I had 4 beef and cheddars.
Nice, dude.
And a
I
curly-
might be able to eat 4
and-
beef and cheddars.
And a curly fries and a pop. And he doesn't even
Cherry-
drink pop.
Cherry Coke. I had the cherry Coke,
You went for
and
it.
Maybe 'cause he was
I ate all 4 of them right in front of him.
Dude,
with
you
a
know
smile
how
on my
much
face.
money he makes, and you know he lives in the den of sadness, and you soaked him for Arby's beef and cheddars one day. You're like, I don't even care that you're broke and you make no money and you live in servitude. You're buying me a lot of sandwiches today.
Beef and cheds today.
Like me,
bud.
I don't buy you lunch. We alternate there, dick face. Sometimes you buy, sometimes I buy.
I don't know. I think
Dick
the
face.
sometimes when you come around is very is sporadic. You
Well, he's
do
got the
jump to
little arms.
Jimmy. Jimmy does come up to he does step up to the plate every once in a while, and he'll pick up a tab. One of my more memorable moments was Jimmy got into a little bit of trouble with a vitamin company. What happened? It was a couple summers ago. Signed up for some vitamins, and they started just.
I signed up for a subscription to Vitamin of the Month, or I was getting, and I
So
can't
they
even
started-
remember what it was.
They started pulling
Another
money out
thing.
of his account. He lost a couple $100. They like every week they were like zipping him for $120 without sending him any product. So he was fucked for rent. So we're in the bar, and he sort of leans in and he goes, "Dude, I'm fucked for like I got no money." And I said, "Well, fuck, I'll give you a hun. I'll give you a honey, and that'll get you through." And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." So I went to the bank machine. I grabbed $100, and I didn't want to embarrass the little fucker, so I sort of slipped it underneath the table and just sort of handed it to him. He gets it in his hand and he goes, "I'll get the next round."
Good for him.
Still one of my favorite James P. White moments. I slip him a honey and he picks up a round for a table of 5.
Rent. Did you make rent that month?
Oh, it wasn't that I couldn't pay
Probably.
rent. I just couldn't eat.
Oh,
just-
when you
I
got
just
food
used-
money, you'd spend it on booze
just-
for all your friends.
I just used the rest of the 100 to go buy a canned meat from the dollar store.
You know what's crazy is Army Chris is like, that's a true story.
Army Chris
actually
was
did
at the
that.
table.
Yeah.
Army Chris benefited from me lending him $100.
The great part is he had to pay you the money back that you gave him that he bought you beer with. So fuck, everybody won, I guess, right? Bondzee's here, and Bondzee's been rocking around LA and saving homeless people. Like, I don't know if I told you this, but over the past week, all you've done is send us pictures of homeless guys in our DM chat.
Dude.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Is it just is LA just packed with homeless people? Because I've heard about the LA homeless problem, and you're from Canada, which is a first world country, right? But my friends that live in LA are like, dude, it's crazy. You can't walk 10 feet without running into a homeless guy, literally that's taken over a park bench.
Yep. They're everywhere, right across the street from the hotel. And literally every time I get in the Uber and go back and forth to wherever my son's place, I got out of the Uber last night at my son's house, and there was a fella in the middle of the street. He was praying to the sky or doing whatever he was doing, and he had no clue that I was at least 8 feet away from him, just snapping away, taking video. He had no shoes on.
That guy?
This guy right here.
Yeah.
And then he'd look up to the sky, then he'd look down, and he's always playing with his hands, like very, very fidgety. And it's funny, Ty knew I was coming because he was Ty's on the 3rd floor, and he was outside. That guy had been parading around for about an hour and just yelling out weird things. And he had Ty's attention, and Ty was FaceTiming with Brad. So he was showing my son. And that is, it's sad. That was just outside my son's house. It is absolutely everywhere. Everywhere.
That's you and your son? That's you and Ty?
That's Ty last night at Universal Studios.
Yep. This is you guys at the Our Lady Peace show last night too. Is that correct?
That's 2 nights ago. And that was a fantastic show. Our Lady
you guys
Peace
got to get
building.
your hand signals worked out.
Yeah. And you need a fucking manicure. Your nails look like you've had your fingers shoved in your arse for a month and a half.
You know what's going on? I got a little bit of nail fungus going on a couple of fingers.
Shit.
It's
going to make it hard to give it the old 2-finger cul-de-sac, But you don't want to put that anywhere near somebody. But then there's more homeless. Like this is, you sent us like 2 pictures of you and your kid. And there's like this poor fucker screaming in the air in the park as I drove by. Yeah, like that was another homeless cat that you took a picture of, and then you took a picture of this, and you're like, "This one's tweaking hard, RT now." I can't stand still. Can't stand still to save her life. And then you sent us this one, and this one kind of made me sad because this lady looks like she should probably be, just kicking it with a couple old ladies in like a senior's home, or she should be chilling on a porch somewhere. And she's literally, as you've pointed out, this is her house. It's like she's taken over a set of bushes and a park bench.
Yep. Yeah. That's right across the street from my hotel, which is, I'm right in the thick of things in Burbank, California. There's money all around here. But that is every few blocks. It's everywhere. And not only that, the lucky ones get, beat up motorhomes that they just literally live on the side of the road. They don't drive. They just live in them. At least it's a bit more shelter, but that's that poor lady's life. I took her some food today and gave her a few bucks.
Oh, fuck, good for you, Bondzee.
Yeah, man, because it breaks my heart. Like it's sad to see. And listen, I can't help every one of them here, but that poor old lady, I've seen her every day. She's up at the crack of dawn, and it's cold here at nighttime right now. It's Los Angeles. The ocean's close by, and then she's cold at night. So I gave her a few bucks and gave her some food today, and I just wished her all the best. And I wish I could do more. I really
didn't invite her back to the hotel room.
Fuck. Listen, pal, I'm not.
She'd be okay with nail fungus. You know what? It's hard, man. Hard to see. And we have. You'd be surprised with the winters we get here. There is a tremendous homeless problem, and I don't know what the answer is, man. But we are sure making a lot of fucking mistakes in Canada and the United States with respect to how to take care of the underprivileged.
I think the problem in LA is like so intense. Like the homeless situation in LA is so intense. You have these people, like it would be like legitimately walking downtown Toronto and walking past like Yonge and Shooter or Yonge and Sherbourne, and literally seeing like homeless subdivisions lined up along the sewer grates, which you don't see here because they do a really good job of trying to get people into these, halfway houses and soup kitchens and place. But in LA, the numbers are so intense when it comes to how many people have been put out on the street over the past 2 years. It's legitimately an endemic there. Like it's legitimately a major fucking issue, right?
Yeah, it's staggering. The prices here are unbelievable for everything. Whether you go grocery stores, everything. Like I was just in Arizona. The price difference is astronomical. I don't know why everything is so much more expensive in California, but so many people have bolted out of here, moved to Texas, Arizona, and other states. But it is sad to see. There's so many people that you do see with these shelters and tents, but the other flip side of that is you just see people wandering around like that guy last night with no shoes on. Literally just wandering around with his head in the sky or down to the ground. The guy in the park with the cane. At one point, he was swinging that cane. And I was just driving by in an Uber, so I didn't get some proper footage. I just was able to get a snapshot. But that guy was having a full-on raging war with something around him.
Well, he's having a war with the guy next to him. I said that to you last time. It's the guy next to him, right, Locke? You see that guy next to him? Yeah. He's having a war with the guy next to him.
Those people are everywhere. Everywhere here, and it's wild.
Sad.
It's sad.
It is, and it's not getting any better. It gets
the
progressively
land of the
worse.
beautiful. There's
every
so
year.
much money here. Everywhere you look, there's fancy cars and Lamborghinis ripping by and stuff. And then you got to see that all over the place. Like somewhere along the lines, we fucked up, and something has to change. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You're right.
You know, I think that a lot now, and I never used to, right? Because I lived in a different space. Like I never had to, I used to just drive by these homeless people and I would think, oh, that's not me, right? That's not me. But it's so much worse now, not just the homelessness, but like our lack of empathy for people that we're like, you know, we it's okay. It's okay to allow these people just to live like animals. Like that's how these people are living. They're living like animals. It's not just in LA, it's in Canada too.
No, it's
like
everywhere.
it's fucking everywhere. And it was so bad. And it's funny because like I used to work in Fort McMurray, you work in Fort McMurray. Glassy, your producer, sent this out and he said, "Hey, I couldn't believe how many homeless people were at minus 48 in Fort McMurray."
Yeah.
Like
Crazy.
the
Could
people
you imagine?
literally living on the
insane.
streets, and it's like we don't care.
Our River Valley is a fucking homeless encampment in Edmonton. That's why I get so angry when they talk about fucking spending $1 billion to put a gondola in.
Mhm.
You're fucking kidding me. We need a gondola? You literally you're wasting all this time and energy in this market.
Right.
Even having a conversation. I don't even care if it's private sector money because at some point that's going to end up costing taxpayers something. You want to put a fucking gondola over the River Valley when there is probably 3,000 people living in it right now that aren't paying any taxes, that have no fucking hope, that are eating out of soup kitchens,
Living in disease.
and you want to fucking build a gondola over the River Valley. What the fuck is wrong with you? They spent $24 million on a funicular. It's an elevator that goes down into the River Valley here.
Well, 50 feet.
It's a joke.
20 feet, yeah.
Yeah, it goes 200 feet into the River Valley. It is a complete fucking waste of money. The engineer, one of the guys that was on the project, that was sitting in a room with the blueprints, they took the fucking blueprints to City Hall, sat the mayor and a couple of other people down and said, this shouldn't be built here. We do not have the climate for it, and it's a waste of money. They said, I don't care. We're getting a fucking subsidy from the federal government, and we're putting it in. Go put it in. The thing is, like, the homeless people shit on the track all the time. It goes down. They bust the windows out of it. It can't fucking run because it's too cold. It can't run when it's too fucking hot. They spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to maintain this fucking thing, and it goes into a river valley with 2,500 to 3,000 people living in it, homeless. And it's a fucking joke. And you know what? Like Bondzee said it. He's like, people, we've made mistakes. We've done something wrong. We have our priorities so far up our fucking asses in this country and in the United States of America. It's easy to pinpoint where the problem is. They spent $650 fucking $1,000 for a set of fucking balls on the side of the road here on the White Mud. $650 fucking $1,000. They paid 2 American fucking artists. It's the most useless fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. $650,000 fucking dollars they paid for these things, and they got to send somebody down there every 2 months to clean it. And we sit there and we walk past these people every day that are like not eating properly, not getting medical help, not getting mental, like it's brutal. It's amazing to me.
Well, they don't care as long as they can say that they did something with government money that promises some kind of return. Like there is no return when you go and say to a homeless person, listen, we're going to take you somewhere and get you warm, get you some help. There's no return there. There's no glory there. Just go ahead.
There is, but it's just they don't see it that way, because if you're helping these homeless people, get them into homes, get them into jobs, you're helping the economy, you're helping clean up the streets, you're doing all this. So there is a payoff, and they don't see it that way because it's not instant gratification. It's not, hey, we have this beautiful silver balls on the side of the road. You're helping people. There's so many people
it's
that
harder
aren't.
to measure.
What
I will say
that's the most important thing, is to help people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, but I think you have to do it properly, though, Jimmy. I mean, I don't have the answer, and I'm not an expert in this, but we were having this conversation on the show a couple years ago, and this guy called up and he said, I was homeless for a number of years. I was hopelessly addicted to drugs, and I was living in Toronto, and I was living in one particular area, and I was in a back alley, and a guy that owned a restaurant used to walk by me, and I started asking him for money, and he would say, nope, but I'll give you a job. And I tell him to fuck off. So for about 2 or 3 months, every time this guy walked by, the guy would say, I'm not giving you any money, but I'll let you you can stay in my restaurant. I got a place in the basement, but you got to wash dishes. And finally the guy said, fuck, okay, I'll do it. And he basically told us that he would never have gotten out of the situation that he was in. And now he's in Alberta. He's got a trade. He's working 9 to 5. He's married. He's got a kid. He's got a truck. He's got a fucking house. He goes, I never would have pulled myself out of that if he would have just thrown me $20. Mm-hmm. He empowered me. Mm-hmm. And he worked for him for a couple of years, right? Mm-hmm. Guy was down on his luck, fucking ended up on the streets in Toronto. And this guy said, I will fucking help you, but I'm going to get
help
something
yourself
from it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Gave him a place to stay. He was able to sleep in the restaurant in the basement, had a cot down there, and he washed dishes. And it fucking saved his life. This fucking restaurant owner saved his life.
Yeah, and that
because he didn't give him any money.
But it shouldn't be left to, like, we're talking about homelessness and all that stuff and the craziness of the fact that we refuse to help people. It shouldn't be left to businesses and individuals like us, even though it is, to go and make a difference. And the fact that we have to make a difference is a great thing. It's good for us. Helping other people is helping you. And I say that to people all the time, guys that I work with. Listen, you can't get out of yourself. Help someone else. If you needed to know how much the government doesn't give 2 fucks about the mentally incapacitated and people who are on the street, talk to Lochlin about the gondola. Talk to these guys about the funicular. Talk about the balls on the side of the white mud. Talk about the new highway that Doug Ford wants to ram in all the way up to his cottage here in the province of Ontario, while we have people freezing to fucking death that are hungry, that are sick, that are sad, that are depressed, that are not well. And you know what? It's I get it, because there's nothing sexy in it for them. Helping people, as James has pointed out, and thank God, James, you pointed it out, is the key to wellness in yourself, not in other people. Yeah. And so the fact that the government continues to not care, and you see it in the States, it's like fucking way worse. But here in Canada, we pay this lip service to wanting to do the right thing for society, but we can't bring ourselves to do the greater good if there's no return. That's the most selfish fucking shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, the greater good is you, it's me, but it's also those people living in the River Valley. It's also these guys that Bondzee is feeding in LA with his Canadian money. It's just about being a fucking good person. And we never see that from provincial governments, federal governments. We hear it, but we never see it, because if we were to see it, those fucking people wouldn't be on the streets. They wouldn't be.
Right. You know, and the funny thing about it is, I think, and I had a moment this summer that sort of resonated with me because of something that we did. And speaking of the funicular, to be assholes one day, we Jimmy and I went down for an afternoon on a Saturday, and we were funicular tour guides.
Yeah,
we lost one of our wagers. Yeah. We lost.
Yeah.
So Jimmy and I had to spend the afternoon in the funicular. And we were just being dicks. But I said to Jimmy, I said, is there something we can fucking do to make this thing worthwhile? And we know about the homeless problem in the River Valley. So we asked a local restaurant, JT's Bar and Grill, and they have a food truck as well. We asked them, they're friends of ours. They love the show. We phoned up Steven and we said, hey, can we turn this into some sort of a food drive? We'll take donations, and you guys do like a beef and bun at the bottom of the funicular. And they're like fucking all over it. So we went, set up. It was balls hot, and we were giving out beef and a bun to anybody that walked by. And we were just asking, hey, it's free, but throw a food donation in if you want. And I said to them, I said, make sure you bring enough for, maybe 100 people, 50 to 100, right? Of course, fucking Steven shows up with enough food for probably 200 people. So we end up with a whole bunch of leftovers. So we went to there's a shelter, a homeless, what's it called? Jimmy, help me out. The one by Rogers Place.
Fuck.
It's right across
Bissell
Center. We went up to the Bissell Center. And we just basically popped the back of the truck, the tailgate. We pulled all the food out. pulled all the buns out. Everything was donated. The buns were donated. The meat was donated. And we did beef on a bun. And they came crawling out of the Bissell Center, all these homeless people. And you know what? They were fucking so polite.
So
And
great.
And
grateful
so
and
courteous.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people that are walking up to us, they're whacked out on drugs. A lot of them, they're fucking dirty. They haven't showered. They don't take care of themselves properly. They're
sick.
they're
They're
not,
hungry.
but they're, one woman came up and said, "Hey, can I have a second one? I'd like to take one to a friend of mine." Right? Like, I mean, it was
Did you say
so
no?
eye-opening. It was so eye-opening.
One per.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it was interesting because it wasn't what you would expect it to be. I was concerned. I was like, how are they going to react to this? Like, I mean, what are we getting ourselves into? It's COVID, and I'm like, fuck it, let's just do it.
And they were polite. They were waiting
They
in
lined
line
up.
with everybody else.
It's insane.
Hey, is there any way I can get another one? You know,
Yeah, it was
they're just hungry.
the kindness from them was what struck me. Right.
It changes you too, right?
Yeah.
It changes the giver. Like you'll change someone's life, and and I'll tell you this story. And I've never been homeless. I've been super fucking depressed. Like I've been to the point where I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, I just want to go to sleep and never wake up. Like that bad, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe how much a stranger's smile affected my day. Like you wouldn't believe it. Just to get out of the house and then to walk by someone in a shop. And I remember this clear as day. I had to walk to Shoppers Drug Mart and grab some things. I'm like, fuck, I got to go out. And so I walk to Shoppers Drug Mart and I get there and I'm walking through the aisles and I'm looking for something and I'm confused and I'm fucked up in the head and I'm just quit drinking and I'm on medication and I'm a mess and I'm like almost nonverbal. If you can believe that. My ex would have loved me then. He's nonverbal. That's incredible.
Marriage might have lasted.
Yeah,
we'll just keep him on lithium.
Fucking nonverbal. But I remember getting to the checkout, and this lady says to me, and I'll never forget it. She goes, "Is that all today, love?" And I'm like, I started crying. Imagine someone who's been living in the valley of the Edmonton River for years. And someone walks up to them and says, "Would you like a pulled pork sandwich?"
Yeah.
Right.
You have no idea how much you change, not just their day, but the hope that you give them that there are more people out there like that. You want to go experience it again. If you're that person and if you're you know what you did? You gave yourself medicine that day by living out of yourself. And that's what Bondzee did, which I loved. I love the fact that he went over and gave that lady a couple of bucks. I also noticed something really incredible is that this guy, no shoes, but he's wearing a fucking mask. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Dude,
and
I gotta say,
I just was like, way to go, homeless guy. Like, you're taking care of yourself and other people. Like, he's still got no shoes, but he's thinking of other people with his fucking mask.
yeah. And I have to say they are everywhere and stuff, but they're harmless. I walked 3 blocks after Our Lady Peace the other night. It was 1:30 in the morning. I was fucking hungry. I seen the McDonald's, the Golden Arches, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a couple quarter pounders of cheese. I am. No onions. And I walk all the way there, and it's 1:30 in the morning. I'm not going to say I'm not in the safest of areas, but I'm not in like Hollywood and spending, $400 or $500 a night on a hotel. So it's a little, I've seen, like, it's all around me, the homelessness and these tweakers. And I slacks Shaw, I love
Having
it.
his soup.
Yeah. Listen, I wasn't scared for 1 second. They were all over the place, but they're in their own world. They are not interested in you and me. They're not out to rob you. Though the crime is gotten a little worse here lately, but the tweakers and stuff, they're friendly people. They're in their own little world, and when they're fighting and swinging shit around, it's not at you and stuff. They're not angry at you. There's somebody else they're dealing with, and they're not a problem. I think that's part of the problem is they're not a problem. They're not the ones causing shit in society. They're just wandering the streets, acting weird and looking weird, but they're harming nobody. They don't.
Scott has a question for you, Bondzee. He says, "Have your trip made you made him more like this, or would you say you're always giving in that way?
Oh, I've always been like that.
Yeah.
My kids can back me up on that. My entire life. I've never been filthy rich. I've been blessed more than a lot of people I know and stuff. And always been pretty thankful. And I always given back. My parents have served over in Haiti like for 5 years in their late 60s, retired and stuff. They're just friendly,
Oh, your
peace loving
parents are
people.
handicapped? Is that what you're saying? Your parents
No. They went
retired. I thought you said
retired.
Sorry, sounded totally something else. I'm like, wow, that explains everything.
Really, Dean? Really?
We're putting a lot together here today.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching. I didn't mean you're retarded. I said retired.
I thought you said retired, but you slurred it, so it sounded weird. Anyway, continue. Sorry, they're retired, went to Haiti. Yeah,
and
they're from good people.
They're good people, and it's instilled in me, and it's the way I've been. So it's the way I will always be. It's give and give back, and so
do you know
many
who's
people,
more of a burden? It's funny, and I hate to interrupt you, but to move the conversation on to a different spot. It's fascinating because Lindley, who's been rock solid in this, by the way, he asked a question about Commander Riker. I'll save that for you, Jimmy, because that's Star Trek, not Star Wars.
Yeah, I know.
But he's like, anti-vax losers are more of a burden on society than homeless folks. Fucking 100%. Like, this fucking picture that we just showed you, the homeless guy in front of your son's place. He's got no shoes. He's got no hope, but he's wearing a fucking mask. Meanwhile, in Ottawa yesterday, some fucking anti-vaxxers decided to take over a dollar store. Watch this. Like, homeless people are looking for food, wearing masks, not being assholes. And there's a portion of the society that wants to throw them in the fucking loony bin or just put them in jails because they're an eyesore. Meanwhile, these dumb cunts get to run around infecting people, acting like assholes.
You're a cocky little prick who's going to lose his career early because you're not respectful to people.
Do we serve them NOLs too?
For a civil lawsuit.
Okay, just give her $20.
Do you have money for a lawyer?
That's way more.
Do you have money for a lawyer?
Okay, but wait a minute.
Are we supposed to serve them too?
Do you know why they asked us to leave? Because we came in here without a mask on.
Everybody that works here is liable for this. I am taking every one of you to court. Every one of you. You're all being held personally liable.
I will also be filing a civil case. Then they asked us to leave. Hold on.
Just a bunch of dumb fucks. Like, I watch that and my fucking blood boils because I look at this picture of this homeless guy with no fucking shoes wearing a mask, and I'm like, you stupid fucks. And this morning, I was so angry that I put out a tweet, and I mean it. Like, I think that it's time in this country to take this shit fucking seriously and to start taking those assholes, putting them on buses, school buses, the cold ones that don't have any insulation and no seatbelts, and fire those fucks up to fucking Churchill, Manitoba, and drop them off and fucking leave them there. Fucking leave them there. Because, and you know what? It's funny because I tweeted about it today and some guy's like, you're inhumane. I'm like, I'm fucking inhumane? I'm inhumane. These dumb fucks are standing in a dollar store threatening employees, breathing disease all over people, and I'm fucking inhumane? You can go fuck yourselves. And all of these people that are standing in the dollar store can go fuck themselves too, because at this point, they're not even part of society. Like, people are talking about two-tiered systems, and this isn't a fucking two-tiered system. This is a two-tiered system that is ignoring everybody on this fucking podcast. Like, we've just sat and talked about homelessness and these people that are harmless. Meanwhile, these stupid fucks are running around making everybody sick at the dollar store. Not just at the dollar store. These guys are so fucking stupid and toxic and degenerate that they showed up to a protein convention because they thought it was a government meeting. And
yeah, fancy pantsies. Look at the fancy pantsies and the fancy dances. Here's one. Ooh, he looks important. Here he comes, right here. Oh, yeah, okay.
This is not a government reception.
Nice touch.
The guy
With
comes
the
up,
extra.
gets yelling and
Awesome.
screaming at these people inside. They're having a beer and they're talking. Some guy comes over, in case you're not watching this on Dean Blundell TV or YouTube, a Dean Blundell show, and you're just listening to this. What you missed was the guy inside comes over and he's like, "Hey, this isn't a Wendy's, man. This is a protein convention."
You know,
those guys are like, "Oh, sorry." Like they were protesting in the wrong place because they don't care where they protest. And the reason why they don't care where they protest is because they were fucking degenerate, mentally ill losers before this fucking pandemic started. And I'm fucking tired of it. I'm exhausted. Like,
They
and I'm
got nothing else
exhausted to
to
the
do
point
now.
where I enjoy this. Like, it's my thing now. This is my fucking thing. I'm going to carry it around with me for a long time. And I am going to make sure that these people know they are definitely a second tier of citizen. Because that's what second-tiered citizens do. They don't take part in society. They try to ruin it. They try to ruin it for fucking people. It's almost Christmas. The dollar store is where I go to get all my stocking stuffers because you're an idiot if you buy them at the gas station. It's way too expensive. So if I see one of those people in the dollar store, I can tell you this right now, that I'll drag them out on my own. Like I will literally, if I see that at the dollar store, if I see that in my Christmas, I did a little
Get it
Christmas
on video.
shopping today, not only am I going to record it, I'm going to call the police ahead of time and go, listen, you're going to have to arrest me in 20 minutes. I'll be right here outside with an anti-vaxxer between my legs in a chokehold. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. Because I don't fucking care. These people aren't human. Doing that to other people.
Oh my God, we got so
is
many
not
issues right now.
fucking human. We do and we don't. Because the situation is easily rectified. We had a guy on yesterday on this show. He was a terrorist. Like he was
legit,
fucking legitimate terrorist. Mubin Sheikh. He's now like
he was a member of the Taliban. He went to Afghanistan when he radicalized and went to Afghanistan. That was a fascinating fuck. By the way, I'll give them a plug. They were on yesterday. He was unbelievable. His new podcast that he's doing with the CIA agent, Spies Like Us. Type in Spies Like Us into any of your podcast providers. It'll pop up right away. It's on all of them. I listened to the first episode while I was driving to and from work today in this fucking nightmare road conditions we have here in Edmonton. And I'm almost done the whole thing. It's a fascinating conversation between somebody that's in on the ground in Afghanistan reporting. That's a podcast that I would highly recommend everybody grab. Sorry to interrupt.
Awesome. No, I'm glad you did. Spies Like Us is a great podcast. So we had one of the hosts on it who used to be a legitimate fucking terrorist in the Middle East. Like he was fucking in it. He was
Syria?
with the Taliban. He was helping people plan stuff. Then he got turned around and he started helping CSIS, and his life is incredible. Now he goes and does these little fucking conversations, and he helps countries build their anti-terrorism thing. And you know what he said? He's like, these guys are fucking extremists. Like they're that close to terrorists.
He called Chris Sky
a fucking extremist.
and a grifter too, which everyone who knows that story.
I believe he called him a fucking idiot as well.
I believe so.
Yeah.
The thing is, the interesting thing about that conversation with Mabim yesterday that sort of hit home with me was because I've always sort of succumbed to the fact that, hey, listen, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not going to have the answers for you. If you tune into the show, if you're taking any advice from us, God fucking help you. You're tuning in to get a couple of laughs, right? And I mean that, right? So, but I do that kind of resonates with me. I do have some guilt about that I don't have the answers to this. So it's interesting when you meet a guy that just casually decided not to get his doctorate this summer, who's a fucking
because all the doctors are coming to him to find out more information so he can help them get their doctorates, and he's like, fuck, I don't need my doctorate because the doctors are coming to me. And he's like, all these people are degenerate extremists. They all are. This is the one step before terrorism, like literally. And fuck, we can say this has never happened and these people aren't capable of being terrorists, but to me they are. Like, that's all they are. It's just terrorist light. And they should be fucking treated like it. Go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
They are terrorists, and I'll tell you why. Because they're inflicting terror upon people. There's so many people, like, outside these hospitals, and especially the Children's Hospital here in Edmonton. Protests. I've got friends that work there, that they're preventing both the kids and their families from going into a children's hospital, and also the people that work there. That's a form of terrorism, if anything. I'm
without question
100%.
Here. But the one point from the conversation we had yesterday that I took, and Mabeen is he said I don't know what to do either. Like we have so many unanswered questions and so many things that we're dealing with right now that I don't even know where to start. Like, I think, you know what, Dean, you made a really good point. You made an excellent point. Maybe we don't have to overthink it. Maybe that fucking smile that you got at Shoppers is enough, right? Maybe just every day try to have a moment of kindness, if you can, for somebody that might need it.
See, to me, it's bigger than that. Like I'm not in the same place that I was back then when I got that smile at Shoppers when I was just a mental midget, and I was like, oh, it's nice to me. Like I've that guy's gone. Thank God I found old Dean, and I've just kind of sharpened the edges, so to speak. These people can fucking die, like literally die. I can care too fucking. I do not care about this dumb fuck. Where is he again? Where is this dumb fuck? Here's the dumb fuck.
You're a cocky little prick. He's gonna lose his career really.
Now, that guy used to own Peter Burgers. I don't care if he fucking dies. Like Mark Friesen, the dude from Saskatchewan that's in Ontario, he has his lungs, because of the COVID, have started eating themselves. He's got necrotizing pneumonia. The dude from the PPC party.
Mark
Friesen. That guy? Mark Friesen, yeah.
He'll be missed.
I don't. Yeah, dude. No. He's getting better, but like he's been in the hospital for fucking 3 months. He puts out this tweet the other day, and he's like, "I want everybody to know it's only pneumonia." I'm like, "Fuck you, fuck off." Like you were saved by modern medicine that you're telling everybody isn't fucking right, and you're being saved by these doctors and nurses who you've been telling everybody are fucking out to get you and us, and that's the only reason why you're here. Fucking die, seriously. Like, I have zero left for any of these people. And it's not that I'm triggered. I just enjoy it because no one else is saying this. Like, no one else is saying, everybody else is saying, well, we can't be too mean to them because then you'll play into their hands of that two-tiered society stuff. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. And the reason why I don't care is because they're the ones that are saying we want a two-tiered society because we don't have to want to live according to the rules of the 90%.
You might be onto something here, Dean.
I am onto something.
The two-tiered system.
There's you go.
Here, let's have it. You can't fly. You can't get on a bus. You can't travel. Did you hear about the guy that's stuck in the airport in Toronto?
Yeah, Chinese dude can't get back to Vancouver because he's like, oh, I had no idea I needed. Oh, that was today, the ban, and I'm not.
He missed it by 20 minutes. He missed his flight by 20 minutes, and he's been stuck in the airport for a week.
What? And you know what?
Yeah, he's living in the airport.
That story made me fucking happy.
It's not cheap there.
That story made me happy. I read that, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That guy's stranded. He's like fucking Tom Cruise from that movie where he could never get home and he played the Lithuanian guy that lost his country. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. I hope he's there forever. Same like Mark Friesen. If he dies, he dies. I don't care. No skin off my back. And then maybe someone will have a conversation with his family if he does die and say, are you ready to fucking embrace objective truth here? Or are you going to continue
they won't.
To be assholes?
Have you seen the tweets and the exchanges from his wife?
Yeah.
No, she's as deep into the shit as he is. They don't fucking believe it. Literally, they've railed against science. Science is saving this fat fuck's life, and they're still railing against it. Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely amazing that you're sitting on a street corner talking about all these things you believe in, and your husband is in there being kept alive by modern science. It is fucking amazing.
Modern science that you said was out to kill you.
Yeah.
And
Bondzee,
Brenton on tour is not wrong. It's he was touring America with Megadeth and stuff, and I've been here 9 months. This country is on the brink of a civil war. I'm not kidding. They are fucking so split down the middle. And it is a small percentage of these people, but they are the ones that are radical down here. I hate to use the word radical for them, but they are hell-bent on saving their country, USA, and Trump, rah, sis, boom, bah. And then the other part, I think Biden is going to save the world. And they are right down the middle.
Yeah, it's like 50% or 55% vaccination rate. I think here in Canada, we're like 88% fully vaccinated.
Yeah, almost.
Are we that high already? That's good.
Yeah, we're almost 90. And that's why it's easy for me to say what I'm saying because 90% of us have done the right thing. The other 10% not only refuse to, but what they want to do until they're forced to get it is make everybody's lives around them miserable. They talk about their rights, taking away their rights of freedom of expression or freedom of choice. Meanwhile, they go to the dollar store or they go to a protein convention because they fucking have, it's the wrong map. But like you go to these things and they act like assholes and take away the rights of other peoples to be able to exist peacefully. That is the right of every single Canadian. And when I see videos like these dumb cunts showing up to a dollar store, ruining a fucking chocolate experience for kids that are getting ready to put a bunch of cheap candy in their jackets to go to the movies, I get angry. And the reason why I get angry is because it's
Jimmy's move.
unnecessary. And
dollar store candy splurge before the movies.
Same
but
with
I
me.
fill a
You're an idiot.
backpack, not my jacket.
Yeah, boy. No one checks a backpack going to the movies, Jimmy. What are you doing? Take a big jacket, for fuck's sakes. Anyway, my point is this.
They don't check midgets.
We need to... You're right. I'm going to go to the movies with you. Hey, come to Wonderland with me this summer, too. We'll get a fast pass. But here's the thing. We need to stop calling these people anti-vaxxers, and we need to start treating them like they are a danger to society and holding them on psych evaluations. Truthfully,
we should.
What
start
I see out
them
there,
terrorists.
We should. They're terrorists. That's all they are. They're domestic terrorists. They're extremists at this point. But when they start screaming and yelling, and I asked Mubin this yesterday, how many people? Good. I'm going to start doing it. We'll find out. We'll find out. That's all
terrorists.
they are. Yeah. They're domestic terrorists.
Like from now on, with any of the blog posts you do, just start by referring to them as domestic terrorists.
I think I will.
Yeah, I think you should. I want to see what kind of reaction they have. Like if every time you guys reference this anti-vax movement, that you actually refer to them as domestic terrorists, I have a feeling that that would get some attention. That's gonna. I wonder if the mainstream media would start to follow suit on that.
Let me put out a tweet and we'll find out right now. I'm going to start.
I'm
no longer calling anti-vaxxers anti-vaxxers. They're now domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorists.
I love it.
That'll get some traction.
They are now called domestic.
Is that your Dean? It's Dean Blundell?
Terrorists. Yep. It's Dean Blundell on Twitter. There you go. Fuck, perfect. I like it. Domestic terrorism. That's what they are. Domestic terrorists. Fucking going into a dollar store. They'd never go into a Nordstrom or a Saks Fifth Avenue either because they fucking wouldn't even get to the front door before security guys like, you guys smell weird. Stay out. You guys smell funky. They are now called domestic terrorists.
Go retweet that, everybody.
Yeah.
It's Dean Blundell.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not referring to him because I get tired of typing anti-vaxxers too because of the spell check. So domestic terrorist is way easier to spell.
Yeah.
Domestic terrorist. Brent's gonna tag Chris Sky.
One of the things thanks Brent. One of the things I tweeted today was this video. Again, another of the things that triggered me today to actually have this honest conversation about how I feel about these domestic terrorists. Started it now.
It feels better. Doesn't it feel good? I like it.
Fucking
off you go.
Fuck, I am on board, Dean. Not a day that goes by where I don't take away something positive from this podcast.
Me too. I love it. So the domestic terrorists got really upset today in Ontario because our chief medical officer, this guy named Dr. Kieran Moore, who's just a nerd, he's like, hey, listen, everybody, you're not getting vaccinated fast enough. We might not be able to move the vaccine mandate, and we need to not mix vaccinated and unvaccinated people in this province. The domestic terrorists went nuts today. Watch this video. It's fun.
In terms of the proof of vaccination, we'll continue to monitor the data and make recommendations to government. A basic means of protecting individuals is stopping the mixing of unvaccinated and vaccinated. And if our cases continue through and after the holidays, we would make recommendations of government to continue the certification process in play. But we'll continue to review the data.
So that's the chief medical officer of Ontario saying, hey, listen, if you don't get vaccinated, and we're going to be, because here the projections are around 4 to 500, it's not 4 to 500, 4 to 500 ICU patients by January, middle of January, so the next month, and about 1,000 to 1,300 in new infections a day. Now, here's where I don't really care. I'm vaccinated and boosted, totally. 90% of the people who are now getting sick, numbers split down the middle as far as people getting infected. The infection numbers don't matter. What matters is who's in the ICU and who's in the hospital and who's having the toughest go. 90% of people that are infected that have serious issues and have to be hospitalized or put in ICU, 90 unvaccinated. So we don't really have a pandemic problem. We have a problem with these degenerates now. This is their problem, not ours, right? So what Dr. Kieran Moore is saying is,
they created a 2-tier system.
Yeah. What he's saying is, you want the 2-tiered system? You fuckers got it.
You got it. Good for you.
I retweeted that. I got fucking pounded by Russian assets for the next hour and a half today. I was like, hey, everybody, look, 2-tiered society, because I believe my tweet was something about let's fucking put all these rejects in a bus and send them up to Hudson's Bay or something. And everybody's like, you're an evil human being. I'm like, no, you're a fucking loser because you're calling me an evil person because you won't get vaccinated, and that's why we're fucking still here, you dipshit. And 90% of the people that are getting infected, even though it's split down the middle, the infections, 90% of the people that are getting infected that go to the hospital, 90% come from the dirty category. They're all dirties. All of them.
SACCOS.
All of them.
Dirties.
And the sickest people in ICU are not the vaccinated ones. They're the people that walk out a couple of days later.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to tell you this because these are all fucking facts. Facts. And I am going to, here's the thing, I'm going to promise you this. If you're one of these people, if you're one of these guys that likes to go and terrorize dollar stores and fucking bang on doors of businesses to interrupt them because you just hate your fucking life, I'm going to follow you around with a big neon sign for the rest of my life. I don't give two fucks. And if you die, you die. That's just part of the deal. And I won't be sad about that either because you asked for it. You asked for it, you're getting it. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
It's roulette. And I mean, when 90% of our country is almost vaccinated and there's the 10%, you're playing roulette at that point, right? Like, why not just comply? It's not comply. It's just do the right thing. Just do the right thing.
Why not do something
you get
for
to
someone
travel,
else?
You get to go to restaurants. You get to go to, whatever without a hassle. Well, why do you want to be that person?
I just tagged Chris Sky on your tweet.
Yeah, so did I.
I said, you're a terrorist. Thoughts?
Yeah, dude, Mubin Sheikh called him basically
an extremist. Called him an extremist.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's all these people are.
This is a form of domestic terrorism. It is. Yeah. Anyway.
I feel good. I feel really good about what we did today.
I could tell. Look at that big old smile.
Yeah.
Being so
I was thinking about it today. It's like, you guys ever see the movie Rocky 2? No, was it Rocky 3 with Clubber Lang? Might have been Rocky 2 or 3. I think it was Rocky 3. Where he's like,
did 3 have the one with the robot?
No, that was
Jimmy? Or was that 4?
One.
That was 4.
The Christmas present for his kid.
Was that Clubber Lang? Oh, it was Clubber Lang. That was 3. Yeah. Okay.
No, 3 was Clubber Lang.
Yeah.
4 was
3
the
was Clubber
robot.
Lang. So in Rocky, and it's in Rocky. So I fucking just spaced out. I forgot what we were talking about because then I started thinking about which Rocky I was talking about. Now I'm
sorry, that's my fault.
Yeah, well, I know.
I can make things worse. Sly just signed on for a TV show from the guys that are creating Yellowstone.
Oh, really?
And he's going to be playing a mob boss based out of Kansas City. It's a period piece. It's his first leading TV role that he's ever done.
Wow.
And that's being worked on right now with some big time players in the in Hollywood and content creation. So
how old is Sly now? He's got to be up
fuck,
there.
Dude,
no?
he's in his 70s.
Yeah,
dude, he's in his 70s and he's still going. He still looks pretty good too. There was a moment there because he keeps backing out of all of these huge projects that he's done over the years. Like he's sort of eased his way out of Rambo. He's kind of eased his way out of Rocky, right, with the Creed franchise. Now he's kind of handing things over. Sure. The Expendables, he's kind of easing his way out of that. But he keeps doing new shit, right?
Yeah.
Did that give you enough time to remember where you were going?
No, I completely forgot about it. Now it doesn't even matter.
Next.
That's the gift of having Lochlin cross around.
I know. For fuck's sakes. You went like way deeper than I needed someone to go. I needed to back off. I know what I was going to say. You brought it back. Way to go. Thank you very much. What I was going to say was in Rocky 3, where Mick's like, don't show him you left. Like, hold the fucking, just keep punching with your right. We talked about Belichick doing that with the run game the other day. Just keep running the football. He's like, just keep going with this one. Just keep going. And then all of a sudden you unleash the left, right? That's kind of how I feel about how I've had to deal with all these people. I've had to be quiet. I've had to sit and watch. I've tried to be
You're
nice.
good at the whole
I've tried
quiet
to call
thing.
it an alternative opinion. Yeah, not anymore. It's an alternative opinion. You got to allow these people time. 2 years in, still not vaccinated. Now turning up the volume by going to different stores and causing a scene. People trying to earn a living. People trying to buy presents for their kids. And they're in there taking up cop resources. They're in there being shitty with employees. They don't care where they go. Now I feel like I can use my left. And that left is me saying, I do not give a fuck. And guess what? I would venture a guess to say almost every single fully vaccinated person would agree with me in a quiet moment. They'd say, we don't care if they die either. They're domestic terrorists.
You're not wrong.
I know I'm right. That's why I'm fucking saying it.
I think most people
This is my left. I'm coming out with the southpaw. I'm a southpaw now. I'm coming in with the left hard. Boom.
I think a lot of people are at the point where they're upset to the point now where they're okay to be a little more vocal. You're getting people standing up for themselves in certain situations. You're getting people like phoning their family members and saying things like, I don't care. You're not coming over. You're not vaccinated. So Christmas dinner is off this year. I think you're getting a lot more scenarios like that. It'll be interesting
That's the only way, you know what? In my opinion, that's the only way that we get to a point where everybody starts to fucking chill out, because you know who everybody listens to? Their mom and dad, their family members. Yeah. And for it's going to do one of two things. It's going to steal the resolve of the idiocy. It's going to make these people go, you know what? I'm going to dig in further. Fuck my family. Or people are going to go, I can't imagine not having Christmas with my entire family for the rest of my life. I'm going to go get fucked. But it is literally up to the families, the friends, and the individuals of each one of these domestic terrorists, or as I spelt it in the tweet, domestic terrorists. Domestic terrorists by mistake.
Oh, there is a spelling mistake, but we're still getting a lot of retweets on
traction. Yeah. I'm going to do it again later with like a meme. I'm going to make a meme, maybe make a nice thing and send it around.
I like how you were complaining about not being able to spell anti-vaxxer, and then you spelled terrorist wrong. That's a strong move.
I was under the gun. I was tweeting.
I get it. You're covered. You're covered. Hey, you're on the podcast with three idiots. Yeah, so you're good.
and Locke has a hard time spelling the.
Yeah, I'm bad. I've
Dude,
got
I
some
saw your
form of
handwriting. You held up your handwriting on the show the other day, and I didn't make fun of you because I thought, what if he's got a problem with it? Because that handwriting was like, it was hilarious. It was like it was done by someone who was having a seizure almost.
Like
it's never been good.
Way worse.
It's
way worse.
It's never been
Locke.
Yeah, it's never been. Yeah, I've got a real problem. I wonder if I've got any examples.
You should try and read the stuff he writes on our freaking music logs.
Oh, I get Jimmy to help me with music because I work in the music department, and so Jimmy has to read my handwriting whenever I make music changes. But the good news is I hardly ever make music changes.
Bite me.
A lot. Oh yeah, you can't. Oh yeah, that's terrible. Like that is yeah.
Well, that's actually better than the stuff he writes on the logs.
Yeah.
I have to look at the log and compare it to what's written in the computer going,
oh, Dean, there are some days I don't play anything that was scheduled.
There was one time you left.
How can you?
You left one song that was pre-programmed in that hour. You played one song.
Jimmy, if you think he's bad, by the time I would say the
Dean
last 5
stopped
years,
playing music.
Totally. The last 5 years I was at the Edge, and I remember having this conversation with my program director. He's like, okay, so we're down to like 2 songs a show, right? And I'm like, yeah. We're supposed to do like 8 an hour. And I'm like, I forgot about that. And he's like, you've been here 12 years. And I said, yeah, I thought the rules changed. So
I didn't think the rules applied to me.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what I said.
He
I'm like,
really
"Oh."
didn't.
I said those apply to me too, right? And they had a rule. It was a rule where they said if Dean does it, it doesn't mean you're allowed to do it. That was the rule at the edge. And it got to the point where they were like, hey, so Dean, I guess the only rules left for you to motor by are please just get all the commercials in before 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, I can't promise.
We'll do our best, boss.
Sometimes we get on a roll, Ross.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Sometimes we get on a roll. He goes, been on a roll for like 15 years. Can you just get the commercials in for like before 10? And I remember the next day, just to be, I'm terrible. Just because I was that guy.
Yeah.
I said, don't play the last stop set of commercials until 10:04. Just because I need them to know who's really in charge.
When I was in Winnipeg, I was the boss. They made me the boss about halfway through my stay there, and I was still on the air. I was doing afternoon drive, and I remember air checking. It was a week or two after I'd started. I air checked the midday guy, and Jim Jones was a friend, but now I'm the boss, and we got to do the air check. And I remember I said something, and he paused, and he sat back, and he said, "We're really doing this, eh?" He goes, I listen to you every day. I went, okay, all right, no more air checks. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, it's really hard to air check somebody and tell them to follow a bunch of rules that you're breaking every day.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna do
I
this.
would sit down with Fearless Fred. Fearless Fred, who did afternoons, he's now on Q. I would sit there. Can we get together and talk about my show? I'm like, yeah. So we'd sit down and we talk. He goes, you do this, you do this, you do this. Like, I want to do something like that. And I'm like, I don't think you're going to be allowed.
You're not going to get away with this.
Yeah.
Give it some time, Fred.
You can try it once. You did it 4 times last week. Yeah, I know, but I'm me. Like, you can't. We have a 40 share. You can't. Like, I'm allowed to do whatever.
You said cock on the air today.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm allowed to do that too. You can't.
Hey, Dean, can we talk to you for a second about that?
Prison joke you told on the air? Yeah, sure. How's it going? You're fired.
You know what? You know what bit we were doing that I kind of stole from the podcast, which I got to bring back. We got to do another round of this in the new year. Remind me, Jimmy. Okay. When we had Bullard just doing
just the punchlines.
Just the punchline, which you used to do on your show, and I stole it, and we did it a couple of months ago.
Oh, it is my favorite thing to do. Just punchlines to the worst fucking jokes that you can tell, and you can never tell
and
them
they
anymore.
were the worst jokes, and Blundell didn't get it. He didn't understand why it was funny, and it made it even better. So we were calling him.
You mean Bullard.
Bullard.
Yeah.
Bullard, sorry. Bullard,
I didn't
get
understand it when I was doing it, then I'm a fucking magician.
Yeah. Anyway, he oh my God, it was fun. He would like, I don't understand what we're doing here. And he was angry about it, which made it even better.
That he had to do it.
Yeah. He had no problem doing it, but he was like, I don't understand what the humor is. And then he would read the headline and we would just all burst out laughing.
Yeah.
Or he's
a little older, right? Like he's used to like delivering the entire joke. He's not used to just the punchline. So when someone says to Mike Bullard, here's the punchline. When mom goes to bingo, we all laugh. And he's like, I don't get it. Okay, Mike, here's another one. There's cum on your shoe and your fly's open. I don't get it.
Yeah.
No. I said raise the flag. Mike's like, I don't get it.
The one we're doing with Jimmy right now is because he admitted to us, and I don't know why you admitted this to us, but Jimmy admitted to beating off on a Greyhound years ago. So now every time we talk about buses, we talk about like Jimmy just wanks off on the bus all the time.
You can't deliver that and just pass by it like everyone does it. Oh, Jimmy jerked off on a Greyhound bus once.
Yeah, and
In
of
your
course,
seat?
Did you
In the
get
seat?
caught?
No, I did it in the bathroom.
Yeah, because everybody that's traveling on a Greyhound has to jerk off at least once before they get off.
I was going from Kingston to Lethbridge. I was on the bus, on and off the bus for 4 days.
Fuck, dude.
It's cleaner to do it in the bathroom on the bus rather than in the bus terminal.
So now we make it out every time Jimmy gets on a bus, he whacks off. He's pounding off on every bus he gets on now, right?
Yeah, he does.
So now the joke is, and we throw this in every once in a while, you drive a truck, you're a truck driver. That's all we say.
I don't even know how you can do it. How can you muster up the fucking mental energy to be able to give it a yank on a fucking bus while you're doing 110 down the Trans-Canada?
Jimmy's got it in him.
Wow, listen, it's 4 days. I'm pretty sure I could pull that off. Dude,
And
I'm surprised
support
you only
from
did it
Bondzee
once.
coming in.
I would have been there every few hours. I'd have been in there. Fuck, I'm so bored. You know, fuck, I'm
And it
pulling
was 20
get
years,
the phone
almost,
out. You know, the
almost
porn's
20
right there.
years ago.
That was dude, you were like you're
what?
28. You were prime masturbation, like prime time.
Did you take
prime whack off
Sears
age.
magazine in with you or something like that for some material?
The swimsuit.
Yeah, what'd you use
catalog.
what did you use for mental imagery? Because this is
I don't know
before
if
cell
we want to
phones.
go down this.
No,
road.
like was it someone on the bus? Because usually that's what happens, right? Is it you
Find a
conjure
nice
up the
lady.
No,
image of like the last person that you saw.
the last one that said hi.
So yeah,
I
like
had
did you?
I had the
I can't
swimsuit-
imagine
I-
the kind
I
of
had
hot
the
chicks
swimsuit
that like
issue.
to get on a fucking bus from Kitchener to fucking Lethbridge, Alberta. What image? You had a swimsuit issue? Is that what
I
you
had
said?
the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
All good.
This
As
sounds
one
like a
does.
recent memory.
He travels with it.
No, I bought it at the bus. At the
Bus
bus
station.
stop.
He made a material. He was too embarrassed.
Bought it
to
in
buy the
Winnipeg.
Playboy, so he bought the Sports Illustrated swimsuit.
He was
issue
halfway. Winnipeg. Yeah. Can't do this anymore. I'm gonna go burn one out.
You're fucking awesome.
Are you think you're gonna have problems tomorrow after that Superman pill?
Rubbing
Oh,
out.
he's
No.
going to be an
Here's
explosion.
the thing. This is the
small
thing
people's
about
sperm
Jimmy.
tomorrow.
Jimmy is going to be the guy that has a medical problem with this pill. Like that's the world that we live in. It's James. He always finds a way to Jimmy every situation. So
like
gonna
he's
take
going to
this
be that
boner
guy
pill.
that has the 6-hour boner that has to go to the hospital to have it drained.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I have some really bad news for you.
Health on the show.
Yeah, if you end up having to go to hospital to have blood removed from your penis, I am sorry. We are videotaping that.
You have to.
You better just settle in right now. If they're syringing blood out of your dick because of because you had a boner for too long, I'm getting video.
Yeah. I'm excited. I want to know how the boner pills do tomorrow, Jimmy, because you lost a bet. You got to take one. Let us know how it goes.
Superman pill.
It's because Locke's a horrible person and he's picking the right people to die.
I actually am very good at the celebrity death pool. I don't win too many things. I'm really good at cards, darts, and the celebrity death pool. I don't know what it is, and bowling. I'm a
Pretty much anything you can do in a bar. Pretty much,
and drinking
literally
is involved.
Yeah. Like every
What a
single
pure
bar
athlete.
activity, you're a fucking pro.
You
at.
are a pure
Shocker.
athlete, my friend. Good, look at you go.
Guys, I'm really good at pool, darts, and banging chicks in the bathroom. That's it.
Oh, bowling. He even admitted bowling.
I'm good at
bowling. Anything to do, any activity that has copious amounts of alcohol, Locke is fucking
Curling. I'm
awesome at it,
surprised
yeah.
you left curling out.
I am actually very good at curling. Oddly,
Of course you are, Locke.
it drives my wife nuts because she curls full time, and I'm like the spare guy that gets called out once a year.
Yeah.
And I come and just throw heat.
And the drunker you are, the better you are, probably. Too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Can we
throw
go-
heat.
Can we go curling while I
shuffleboard.
stay? Oh, you're not going to be there. While
Yeah,
I'm
I
at
don't
your
care.
house.
The
It's a
lead
weird
is
thing.
supposed to throw hit.
Can I go in and fill in for you and your wife at curling one night?
Dudes, do you curl?
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty good
Bondzee,
at curling.
you're fucking
not gonna
moving
lie.
here. You're moving here. The more I hear, the more I realize. I'm
Unless
just
that's
gonna
When I
let
hear
you.
him talk, all
way
I hear
more.
is Alberta too. By the way, like when Bondzee talks, all I hear is Alberta, bud. That's it. He's gonna fucking be paid.
you need to move
Bondzee,
here.
yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. But Bondzee, you sent us a picture of a ticket. You're literally going on Thursday. You're gonna be in Lochlin's house
Tomorrow afternoon, I fly out at 4 from LAX, and I'll be at Lachlan's house. Well, Saturday, yeah, I did it. I'm coming to Canada, eh? Back to Canada, eh?
Friday is a tough day for me. I got so much going on. I'm not going to be able to hang out. But
yeah, so
and I'm going to miss the pod on Friday too, Dean. I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. I'll do it with him in your stead, and he'll be at the house with your wife. I'm sure she'll really appreciate that while you're out.
Speaking of wives, my wife was more grateful than I actually thought she would be when she found out that I didn't lose the take the Superman pill. Wager.
Got some bonus
She goes,
points,
thank
bud.
God you won that one.
You would
Who
leave her
died
alone.
again?
Well, listen, dude, we're gonna be live at Lachlan's house. I know you're on the show tomorrow, Loch, and then you're off on Friday, off for a couple of weeks, going to visit your daughter, which is great. Bonzee's gonna be house sitting for you, so we'll have Bondzee back tomorrow. No, you're not back tomorrow. You're gonna be landing in Alberta, so you won't have a chance to do this.
No, I'll be available tomorrow and Friday. So tomorrow I don't fly out till 4, so I can do the show if you
From
want.
the
If
airport.
I'm welcome, and then I might be at the airport. And
All right.
wherever I am, I'm welcome. And then Friday I'll be in at Army Chris's house.
Okay, good.
I will be willing to bet a large sum of money that he hands you a beer when you get in the car at the airport.
And there'll be a six-pack
Probably.
at your feet.
Yeah.
I'll probably drink it too. I'm not gonna
He'll
lie.
probably hand you a pack of smokes just so you can feel like you're part of the crew too. Here's a pack of smokes. I don't.
Oh, do you
so it
smoke?
doesn't matter.
Have you got a
No,
nicotine habit at all?
No, I like to chew. I have a bag of chew here. I like the odd chewing tobacco and spit, but
You're not from Alberta.
I know
the
it's
dip
crazy.
is too much for me in the bottom lip, and cigarettes I cannot smoke. They make me throw up.
Well,
but I
you
do
should
love a
try
good chew.
the native cigarettes. You might be good with them
Nah,
because the
I'm
red
not gonna
cigarettes
start
are the ones
another
that
habit. Yeah, I got enough bad habits.
Yeah, you do.
Army Chris sells the red cigarettes, so you just fucking get on those. There you go. You might as well get all the habits while you're here.
Yeah, you're going to Alberta. It is hard to believe after listening to him go through the litany of things he enjoys. Hard to believe he's not an Albertan. It really, really is.
Do you like to shoot things when you're drunk?
Absolutely, I do.
You'll do good with Army Chris.
Shoot things when you're drunk.
And if it's dark enough, they'll light off fireworks in the backyard.
Oh yeah, listen, buckle up, Edmonton. I'm coming in hot.
I wish I was there, kind of.
Cooped up
Oh,
for
my
9
cheeks
months
hurt.
on a bus. Edmonton
All
is
right.
gonna get it.
Every picture I have with me holding a gun, I'm usually drunk at Army Chris's.
Very good.
What a show
Well,
today.
the rest of the week should be fun. Thanks to my friend Greg Bondzee Live, who's coming home tomorrow. Really glad you're coming home.
Back to Canada, me too.
Back to Canada.
Thanks,
we'll
Dean.
have him live in Edmonton tomorrow. Locke will be back tomorrow as well. James P. White, watch for his new podcast called the Jedi Jimmy podcast. James, I'm very excited for you. I'm really thrilled that you're doing this, and I cannot wait to see what it becomes. It's going to be
100% Jimmy.
Yeah, you're good. Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Fuck
Next week, next Thursday, first episode, everybody.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. And Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. Listen to him every single morning, him and Jimmy and Grant. And they're a great morning show, like the best morning show in Canada. If you're
The boys are taking boner pills
hands
tomorrow.
down.
Yeah.
Illegal Mexican boner pills, too.
and they have to watch
beach volleyball.
ladies
women's
beach volleyball.
Yeah.
You might have to throw that one in.
See you Saturday, Locke.
Ladies.
I had
Bondzee,
a
take
boner
care.
while turning it on.
Okay, good. We'll talk to you soon, bud. James
Take
P.
care,
White,
boys.
ladies and gentlemen. Lachlan Cross, Bondzee, and that's it for us. Great group of guys, huh? A nice crew. And I meant what I said earlier. I really don't care about calling these people anti-vaxxers anymore. They're domestic terrorists. Domestic terrorists. Homegrown. They should be treated like that, too. Hey, Justin Trudeau, I think you're a doucher. But you want to make some points? You want to get some brownie points with 90% of Canadians? Start chucking these pricks in jail. Go get them some mental help. That's what we got to do. Unless, of course, you've got a legit medical reason that you're not vaccinated. And if you're unvaccinated and you don't like to show up to the dollar store to act like a total asshole, I think you're fine. It's the assholes I'm coming for. You got to separate the assholes into different categories. Anyway, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our friends over at Easy Auto Financial. Easy Auto Financial is where you get a car and financing for a car. Super easy to do it. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Go there today. No obligation. Fill out your little thing. And then they're like, oh, you want a car? And they're like, we got your financing right here. You don't have to worry about it. Oh, what kind of car do you want? Where do you want to buy it? Right there. That's where, here's your financing. There's your car. There's the dealer. They do everything for you. Bad credit, not an issue. They are unbelievable with subprime lending, and they're great people too. So easyautofinancial.ca if you're looking for a car. No obligation either. Also our friends at Domination, dmntn.com. They're our production partner, and it's artificial intelligence for people that like to produce content. Super easy to use it. Go to dmntn.com. Again, dmntn.com. Check them out today. Try them for free. It takes like minutes instead of hours to do promos. It's fucking awesome. So try them today, dmntn.com. And, of course, Ed's Fine Imports. I went to Ed's today and did a little shopping. Here's the deal with Ed's Fine Imports. Ed's a great guy. He has his Cyber Monday, Black Friday stuff still going on. So I saw some blazers in there, regular $695, $595, $799, 80% off. One blazer, $700 blazer, is $89. You're ridiculous if you don't go to edsfineimports.com. Look, that's in store. Go in store and get something for that hubby of yours. Get something for yourself. 80% off suits and blazers. edsfineimports.com. Not only that, he's also got Gitch. Like I just loaded up on a bunch of Gitch for all my friends for Christmas. Luxury branded underwear. Order them today. Have them sent to your friends. Order them for you. Order them for your husband. Small, medium, large, extra large, black, red, purple, orange. He's got all the colors. The fit is phenomenal. edsfineimports.com. Again, edsfineimports.com. Gitch3 is your promo code. You can get a free pair when you use that promo code on checkout as well. 80% off on a whole bunch of suits and blazers. Another great deal where you can get your underwear and plus an extra pair for free. Luxury boxer briefs at edsfineimports.com. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for being part of the show. Really appreciate you being here. Protect the people you love. And if you are one of those people trying to tear down society, I'm on it. Bye.